All right, welcome back, everyone. I hope day 2 of useR has been good to all, and we have a fantastic speaker lined up, but I have 2 very important announcements before that. One is that we have some extra socks, so if you would like to take one, or, we've been talking about the future of R, a great way is to bring a pair of good socks to children at home, for example. So stop by the registration desk tomorrow if you would like to bring one back to a colleague, a friend, whoever. It'll be first come, first serve. The other one is we have our social event this evening. I just looked at the menu. It looks delicious, actually. And we'll have drink tickets again like yesterday. But please take a picture of your ticket before claiming your drinks, because we will also have a book raffle about 20, 30 minutes into it. So you can... While you need the physical ticket for your drinks, you can just show me the number on your ticket from your phone to claim your book if you're one of the winners. Okay, so our next speaker is Yanina Bellini Saibene, who is a community builder, a teacher, and researcher who believes in the power of open science at the service of people, and that education is the best tool we have to improve lives by reducing structural inequalities, as well as to improve the world as a part of community. A woman after my own heart. I've had the pleasure and joy of working on projects that Shani has been involved in, and our paths have crossed many, many times at various R events and conferences over the years. And I am so happy that all of you in this room will get to say so after this talk as well. So take it away, Shani.
Hola, hola. Hello. Hey, there they are. Okay, thank you so much, Mine, for the introduction, and to the organizing team for giving me the privilege to be in a stage that my voice can be heard today. So, and also to thank you to all of you to be here after a very, very long day of conference. So thank you so much. Okay, this is the title of my talk, and we are. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm not an English native speaker, and I actually did a play with words in English. So the title is We Are Together, How to Learn, Use, and Improve a Programming Language. Yes, I think there is a programming language, even what Simon said today, as a community. With the other talks, please check the QR and the link so you can be doing your questions while the talk is going. Okay, and perhaps some of you can be wondering, why community, Shani? Programming language is a tool, it's tech. I use R to tell the computer how to do stuff. So what community has to do with this? And in this context, I will speak about one special type of community, that is community of practice. And the formal definition for this is a group of people who share a passion for something that they know how to do and who interact regularly in order to learn how to do it better. So probably you are thinking on community of practice that you are part of, but let's see some examples. This is one of my favorites. It's my swimming team. The master class. Master is a fancy way to tell us all. and we go to swim at 7 a.m. in the morning. So the passion is pretty present here. And we not only get together on the pool, but we also get together to eat, to have dinner, to enjoy friendship and our company, and to organize on what competitions we are going to go. Another community is my English conversation club. The main reason, because you are going to be able to understand most of the talk, I hope. And we get together to get better on speaking in English. And going to my international community, I'm the chair of the board of directors of the Carpentries, which is really a community that is passionate about teaching computational skills and to try to learn how we teach better these skills. And then, of course, my R-related communities. I'm part of the leadership team and a chapter organizer of the amazing R Ladies. I'm the community manager of rOpenSci. I'm one of the co-chairs and co-founders of Latinar, the Latin America community around R, that we get together once a year in a conference. So now I would like to know, what are you R-related community of practice? R Ladies? Okay, good. rOpenSci? Good. Data science learning community? Okay. Data science hangout? Okay, what else? Shout out. Okay, our user groups. Okay, so we are all more or less related or part of some community of practice. One of the topics that come in several of the talks, and it's not only for the R programming language, is how we sustain open source software when the people who create it are not longer available to maintain it. And this has to do not only with money, but also with who is the people who will come and take responsibility of that. So yeah, I'm talking about getting old or getting change career or different reasons because you are not going to continue with open source. As someone who is part of several community and has a leadership position, I strongly believe that community is part of the answer. How we make people be an active and successful member of the community can be part of the solution to that. So my intention for today, my proposals to you, is that we try to discuss and try to find some answers to these three questions. How does someone become part of a community? How does someone participate in a community? And how do we know if that is working? I will give all my examples with rOpenSci. So if you already were in Andrea and Noam's talk, this is I'm going to repeat. But rOpenSci is an R-related community. And we are very passionate about science and open source software. And we lead a set of interrelated activities around capacity building, community development, and research software development practices to transform science through open data, software, and reproducibility. And we do this creating social and technological infrastructure that we implement through our main projects. So our software peer review is an open, transparent, friendly peer review of our packages with the goal to improve the quality of the software we use to do science and to empower the developers of those packages. Our universe is our platform to publish our packages, and our universe will build the binaries for different operating systems, including WebAssembly, and it's also going to build documentation, data sets, and it's going to record a lot of stats about your package that you can use to improve your software. Our multilingual project tried to bring rOpenSci's resources and materials beyond the English language, human language. And we also tried to provide multilingual capabilities to the R community in different dimensions. And then our Champions program that is focused on people who are usually excluded from the open source and open science movement, and try to recognize, reward leaders in a community with a year program with mentoring, where people go through the development of a project that usually is a new package, or take a package and improve it and going through our peer review, or become a reviewer of our rOpenSci. So saying this, given the context of what is a community for me and what we do at rOpenSci, let's start with the first question. How does someone become part of a community? After all, you can't take responsibility for something that you are not part of. So I love to use frameworks to try to understand processes. So I will use a framework called the Path to Inclusion that have 6 steps. And those steps are going from, I never heard of this, I don't have idea about this community, to this is my thing and I'm going to take responsibility for this. So how we can do activities and strategies that help to someone to go through these 6 steps and become a member of your community. The first one is awareness. I have heard of this, so I need to know that this exists before I can decide if I want to participate or not. So what we do at rOpenSci in that sense, that probably the first things that come to mind is, okay, you need to use social media, Shani. Yes, we can do that, and we actually have several channels, Blue Sky, LinkedIn, Mastodon, Slack, Vimeo, forums, newsletter, GitHub, and all the things that we need to use after Twitter blow up. But one of the other things that you can do is to not only share news and blog posts, but also do social media campaigns. So this is our focus communication strategies that are really good to showcase our tools and the people who are part of our community. So an example is the Campaign package a day. We have more than 300 packages, so we can run a year with this one. And we highlight developers. We have a call to action, tell us how you use this package. We also highlight users, and we give examples on how people use our tool in the wild. The other potential strategy is conferences like this one. So you can attend, you can present a talk, a poster, or you can go a step further and try to do a joint event with the main event of the conference. For example, we organized a Translathon, which is a hackathon for translations with Latinr last year. While we get some new people, we focus on a region and a human language that was Portuguese. And we have sometimes people who contribute to rOpenSci for the first time, and they help us to get our Portuguese translation of our book about packaging. And we also can work with other groups and communities. So we usually give talks or teach workshops for our ladies chapters or our user groups. But we also provide a space in our rOpenSci for others community to come. And we have a series of co-working sessions that we call Getting to Know. And we invite other communities to come and present to the rOpenSci members. And this benefits both communities. So for example, John Harmon came and introduced data science learning community in the co-working sessions. And there we discussed the use of rOpenSci package that has data sets for the use in Tidy Tuesday. And John did that one of the week, and he also let the community know that we were looking for maintainers of one package. One person saw that call and offering to volunteer, and now is one of the maintainers of the package at rOpenSci. So now that we spread the word and people is aware that we exist, the second step is that people need to understand what is our business, what we do. I understand what this community is about. And here we need to get descriptive, and things like the name. At Our Ladies, we know a lot about names and the issues that can create. The visuals that we use and how we explain can help someone to understand what is this about. So our best ally here is a website. We have this project section where we show what our main programs and activities are. We also have a list of use cases, so people can see how other users use our rOpenSci package and resources in the wild, and that can have an idea, new ideas. And then we also have a lot of books and articles, and especially our guides. I'm going to highlight two, our package guide and our localization and translation guidelines that state how and why we do these things. So it's not only the process, the technical aspect, but it's also the motivation and the reasoning behind doing that activity. So I know that you exist, I understand what you do, now I need to see myself being part of the community. I need to see myself doing this. How can we create that space? So one of the things that we also do is to have guidelines and tip sheets, like explain various ways to contribute and the benefit for the person of each one of those. And we have an entire book of that. So on how you can be part of rOpenSci and what each one of those options can bring to you, from learning, from exchanging, from sharing, for new experience. Then we have interviews. So we showcase people that are part of the community. For example, the series, The Start of Our Universe, we choose users from different parts of the world, of the platform, and we talk about their work and how they use the platform. And these three people, Juan, Sebastian, and Mu, represent different space, government, industry, and academia, and it's also in different human languages. And then we have articles where we share experience and intros of people who are part of rOpenSci. So Bilikisu and Andrea share their experience being champions in the Champions program, and Alex share how different was an academic journal peer review compared with rOpenSci peer review in the sense of the openness and the kindness and the kind of interaction that goes. And here is a blog post introducing Emmy and Nima as new editors of the Stats peer review. So with this, we hope that people can read this experience and say, hey, I can do that too. Now that I learn about you, understand what you do, and I can actually see myself doing that, I need to be able to access to your community. And here is different dimensions. So physically, logistically, financially, safely, and you can add other ways that accessibility can be a problem for participation. And I will start with physically. We try to be accessible by design in everything we do, and responsive when we need to change. Because sometimes we can't, sometimes we don't know, and we learn in the process. And for give an example, I will let that Liz Hare, that was one of our champions, explain with her words what this means.
So I'm going to mention a few specific things because it might help people who have students or colleagues who are blind. The training materials came with beautiful websites that were mostly extremely easy to navigate, that had all of the material that was shown in the Zoom training sessions. This is really important because Zoom screen sharing is not accessible with a screen reader at all. I participated, I'm actually participating this year. I'm in the cohort after Kagri, but there was not any expectation that my strategies for accessing R and working with R and being part of the community would be the same as his. It's important to realize that people, although they have the same disability, might have very different solutions and strategies. Doesn't have expectations that, for example, people with the same disability will have the same accessibility practices.
Okay, so here is things that most of us know, like give the material beforehand, give it in a format that is accessible for a screen reader, put alt text. But I think that one of the important things is this: don't assume that because you solve some people accessible issues, it will work with new people that join your program. Always be attentive and responsive to the change that we need. Sorry. Well, for the safe dimension, I will mention one again, code of conduct. I know that we need this, but a code of conduct that is enforced is a really important tool. We still need it. I'm showing here that we have it also in different human languages for provide more access, but an environment where you feel safe, where you know that people will stand up with you, is a place where at least I like to be, and I feel okay making questions, helping, and being part. And then logistically, I'm going to talk the time zone issue. That's the only reason, because I would like that the Earth actually is flat, so we don't have to deal with time zones. But we try to deal with that, giving our co-working sections, for example, rotating time zones. So people get together to work and to speak about a topic, and every month we change to one of these. So with this, we try to reach people when they are awake. Okay. Now that I know you exist, I understand, I can see myself, and I can access, I will feel like I fit in this community. This promise of being part will really be true. So how we can create an environment where people feel that they belong. I'm here going to give one example, again, with human language. When rOpenSci started the software peer review, it was an English-only possibility. And in 2020, the community decided to pilot software peer review in Spanish. So now you can send your package to review in English and Spanish. In 2024, Marcos Prunello was part of the Champions program, and he created a package that is called Carel to teach programming. And he is Argentinian, so he teaches in Spanish. And he wants his students can code with words in Spanish. So the package can do that. You can write a code saying filtro or saying filter. And we also publish a packaging guide in Spanish in that year. And now Ana Carolina, a new champion, will be working, piloting our peer review in Portuguese. I'm sorry, Marco was a bilingual peer review. So because the package has English and Spanish, we have one review in each language. So it was our first experience doing that. And Ana will work on the Portuguese peer review, so we can have the 3 languages. And we are very close to publish our packaging guide also in Portuguese. The final step is ownership. So I feel that I belong, but I feel it that is mine, that I care enough to take responsibility for this task. And here we have, because we have so many roles at rOpenSci, that path from have one role and to take responsibility in others can go in many different ways. So I will give you some examples. So Xian went from author to reviewer, and he present red bar for the peer review, and then become the reviewer of these 2 other packages because he has a really cool experience. And one of the important tools was the onboarding. So not only the people, but also the resources. So this person that has this role can fill the gap of the knowledge and the skill that they have and they need to be successful on this other role. Then, of course, we have from user to maintainer. So Pascal is a teacher in France, and he has to teach in French and English, and he was using Babel Quarto, which is part of the rOpenSci infrastructure for multilingual, a Miles Salmon's package. Pascal find an issue on the package and contribute, and now he become one of our maintainers of Babel Quarto. And what tools we have for this? Well, we try to make it really easy to find a task. So there is some researchers that say that we have usually 3 barriers to contribute to open source, social barriers. One is to be able to set up the environment you need to do a contribution. The second one is to find something to contribute. And the last one is how well your contribution is received. So we try to make it really, really easy to find a task. In our webpage, we list all the help wanted issues from all our packages. And we also categorize like, this is a good first issue, this is not a good first issue, you need to learn to know a little bit more. And then we also have this community called Plus Mini Hackathons, where people are maintainers and members of the community come and will be mentoring people who want to contribute for the first time to a package. So here we try to support the setup and find the task. And thinking on the next generation of people, I have to say in one of these, we have a 15-year-old person who come and start contributing to translation and now continue contributing to reviewing Spanish text. And then from champions to mentor. So Carolina was a champion of the first cohort. She was working on the EPH package, which is really important package in Argentina. I have some statistics from the country. And now she will be a mentor of Matilda in LP, who will try to build a corpus in Spanish of feminist text. And the key tool here for us was training and guidelines. So everything that I'm showing here is open and is available. So if anything here sounds to you, hey, that will be useful to use, there is there for you to use and reuse. So here is our mentor guide and the training that we give for mentorship. So here are the 6 steps. And I would like to know if you can think and identify what activity or tool helped you to become part of your community. You're part of a community. What was that thing that you say, hey, this is for me. I want to be part of that. If you want to write down that will be cool. And I will be more than happy to chat with you what was that for you. So let's go to the second question. How does someone participate in a community? Because someone become part, it feels good, it fits, is really excited, how they can participate when they are a member of the community. And for this, we have another framework, a participation model, that says someone can participate in these 4 ways. It can consume, so read a newsletter. It can contribute, it's giving a talk or doing a review. It can collaborate, we maintain a package together. Or it can co-create. Hey, we think these new things together. And perhaps they're even going to another community, not even yours, but you provide the space for this to happen. So for giving an example of this, I will introduce you to 2 awesome members of rOpenSci, Mo and Joel, and I will use their own words to describe this experience. So Joel was planning to visit Oslo, Norway, to teach a workshop, and he reached out to Mo to ask about getting together for a coffee. Mo asked if Joel will be up for teaching another workshop because Mo has seen Joel on an rOpenSci community call about targets. That we are going to have a great keynote tomorrow, I will. And she really wants to take advantage of Joel's experience. And Joel realized that it was the motivation he needed to fully flesh out the workshop material, so he happily agreed. If we dissect this example, in the community call, Joel was in the contribute mode to rOpenSci, and Mo was in the consume mode. When they organize and create the teaching materials and do the workshop, they both were in the co-create mode. Joe and Mo are also the carpentry instructors, so we also kind of work with things that others community was setting up. So it was also a co-create for the carpentries, for the University of Law, and for rOpenSci, because now rOpenSci has training material in one of their awesome packages. And then when I learned about this, I asked them to write a blog post about this experience. So when they did that, the participation mode was collaborate, because they write the blog post together. And we also collaborate for two communities, because we crowd-post the blog post in the website of rOpenSci and the carpentries. So I would also like for you to think, what is your most common form of participation in your community? Do you consume most of the time? Do you collaborate? Do you contribute? Have you ever think about this? And now for the last question, it's like, okay, Shani, you have shown a lot of tools. The frameworks are really nice, but how do you know if this works? How do you know that? Well, we usually use metrics, so we measure a lot of stuff. Like we can do by year, by project. For example, rOpenSci has more than 300 packages, 1,300 unique contributors, 120 million downloads, and we have 13 categories of packages. But the thing is that community is not just about numbers, but about people. And communities are built on connections. So we try to get people together, working together. And we have been playing around with social network analysis. And this is the more easy collaboration network that we can create. That is how we author blog posts. So each dot is a person, and each line is people who write a blog post together. And we can, this is the network of 2024. We can filter this and go like, okay, why we don't watch the blog post in Spanish? And we can see how something evolved on time. This was the network in a Spanish blog post before 2022. 2 people, no relations. In 2022, we launched our multilingual project. And this is the network in 2024. And if you have inside info like me, you can see 3 clusters, and one are translation of core blog posts for rOpenSci, the other are the rUniverse series of interviews, and the others are our champions. And these people who is kind of alone is because we don't put other kind of collaboration. So for example, Liz could have a link to me because I translate her blog post to Spanish, and to Chagri if we were showing the Turkish network collaboration. So, trying to summarize, let's go back to the question, why community? And why improving programming languages? If I didn't convince you that all these people do a great and immense work on creating packages, maintaining, reviewing, using, teaching, sharing knowledge, let's give me another example. This is Claudia. She was one of my students. She works in Argentina for the National Institute of Family, Peasant, and Indigenous Agriculture. And she was the technical advisor of a group of llama wool producers in the Puna Jujuy and the northern of Argentina. Part of her job was to take samples of wool and to register characteristics of every animal to try to characterize the animal herd, so the group of animals. To better analyze and understand that data, she became a student of the Data Science for Public Policy Diploma of the University, National University Guillermo Brown, where Paola, Elio, and me were professors. Paola and me, we met together because of Our Ladies. That was where we start working together. And with Elio, we met together when we worked on the translation to Spanish of the book R4DS, one book that we used to teach in Spanish in the university. The three of us were part of the group who organized and create LatinR. And in all this, we figured out that we really enjoy working together. And in LatinR, we learned about rOpenSci, and we start using the packages also for teaching and for our work. And we also learn about the carpentries. The three of us become instructor, and two of us, Pao and myself, we become trainers. And we teach a lot of people in Spanish how to teach better using the carpentries material. And some of those people are professors at the university. When Claudia started, she was denial on, I'm not going to be able to code. I'm not a programmer. I'm never going to do this. After being our student, she was able to gain a skill on data wrangling and analysis, reports and visualization, and communication. Here she is showing the final work for one of the courses on visualization with information about one of the producers she was advising. With this analysis and the reports, the group has the tools to negotiate a differential price 200% higher for the wool that they usually have. And they sell 3,000 kilos of wood with that price, which is prehistoric money, and there is Claudia doing part of the work. So why I tell you this story? Because this is an example of the community of developers, our package developers, and our users spreading the word, sharing the knowledge, being very generous with what they know, translating materials so more people can access, and that impact the life of people who don't even know that R exists. And I think that is the technology that is worth developing, a technology that helps people and not exploit them, a technology that is at the service of the people, and use science for that. And I think the R community is a great example of that. Thank you very much. Well, while the questions come, just to say, recognize the software that I used to build the talk. Also say that my son, Francesco, 9 years old, helped me with the drawing. We think together that, and then to all the people who allowed me to tell their story in this talk.
Thank you so much. So please submit your questions using either the link with the event code or the QR code up there. And I am going to start with the first question. What do you do when a community doesn't exist or people around you are using different tools like Jump or Python?
How you start a community from scratch? I tend to try to join things that already exist. Yeah, I try not to start something new again. If for some reason the things that are in place are not good for me, like I don't fit there, or I don't feel that I belong, then I try to get people who I feel comfortable and start then something new. But my advice is check out what is around and try to join something that exists before to start something from scratch. Because maintain community is really hard work, takes a lot of time, especially if it is volunteer work. So you really need to be really committed on that maintenance. So I don't know if it's a right answer, but yeah, will be my advice.
Okay, we have another great question. So we all have finite time and energy, and there are so many great communities of practice. How do you, either personally or as general advice, decide where to invest yourself?
I would say the first, thinking on the 6 steps that I mentioned at the beginning, you need to feel that you belong there, and you need to feel good being there. It should be something that you enjoy. It shouldn't be something that is heavy on you, especially if it is volunteer. Yeah, so, and usually that also comes with the benefit, say, okay, what I'm looking in this community. I want to learn something new, I want to get some new skills, or I want to teach something. I want to share something that I know how to do. And with your goals and the goals of the community, try to see where that overlap. But you should feel good of being part of being there.
In your own experience with your communities, which of the 6 steps are the hardest to achieve or the most likely to lose potential community members?
I will say that access is an important one. Again, especially in volunteer, when having free time to put in task is a privilege, actually. So if you can't pay everyone to do the work, which is the case of open source and a lot of open movements, then the currency of payment has to be something else. Like, this could be your brain. It's something that you are going to learn new. It's going to improve your skill. It's something that is going to challenge you. And then it's in the heart, how you that make you feel. So I joined Our Ladies, which was my first art community, and one of the reasons because I'm here today, because I want to give back. I was able to have the education that I have because my country has a public system, and I want to pay back that to my city. And then that ended up in many, many other things. So I would say to try to put together your goals and the goals of the community and see how that goes.
Some of your favorite ways to keep yourself and other members motivated in a community?
Okay. I think that is, for me, knowing these stories that I tell here, it's like when I realize that something that we do actually helps someone, it's like, okay, this is worth it. I want to do this again. And it's happened to me sometimes like, okay, let's organize this conference. Oh my God, this is so much. I'm not going to do this again. And then next year, I'm again in that situation. Why? Because it's so cool to see all the people chatting, the relationships, the collaborations, and the things that start because you create the space for people to do their thing. This is not our credit, but it's actually that you create the space so that things can happen. So that for me is like a burst of energy. It's the kind of the main motivation for me. And also it's opening the door to other people. So a lot of what Ladies and rOpenSci and their community has been doing to allow people that usually can't be part to be part is amazing. And to give more opportunities to more people, it will make our world a better place, for sure. And I think we all want that.
Someone who's in peak, I'm not doing this again. No, I'm just kidding. Do you think that the surge of LLMs jeopardizes people's search for communities?
No. I think that I need to think more about that. My first reaction is no, because you are going to need help even with the result that the LLM is giving to you. Until now, the things that we get, unless that you know, that you already have a mental model to understand the outcome, you are going to need help to see if that code works or of that. But yeah, I need to think a little bit more on that.
more question for you. What are the best ways to bridge generational differences so younger adults and teens become aware and are involved?
Yeah, that is a. This has been some talks I have been checking on what kind of media new generation use, and I always made the jokes that I don't even understand Instagram, but I only have it so I can see a picture of my nephew, and but it's not. I think that is not only the media. It's people that will enjoy more to watch videos than to read, for example. So learn what is the way that we can find them and create the content and be in those places is kind of one of the things. And the other, I will say, to listen. So to go and talk with them and listen and learn what they want. This person, this 15 years old person, when I asked, Juan, why you are participating in this, why you are reviewing this Spanish and contributing, the answer was, I feel useful. And it was a great answer, and it was a surprise. We say, okay, good. So there is 15 years old kids around that wants to feel useful. Let's give them a space so they can do that.
Much. Let's give another huge round of applause to Shani. And we have one more thing for you. Don't forget, here you go. Thank you very much. And I will see you all at the Nasher. Thank you.